Oh, yeah! Welcome out, everyone. This is the Remix Morning Show. The Riders. For you. That's right. We are doing it up with that boom bap breakfast right here on this beautiful, what day is it? Tuesday, November 26th. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, and we got a crew coming through. First, let me introduce no other than Dr. Jerry Boom!
Oh, that motherfucking verse is pressure.
I love it.
You already know, Bumpy Nux.
I love it. Bumpy Nux.
Bumpy Nux. That's how we starting off today.
I love it. My favorite rap name. I still think, shout out to Freddie Fox. An underappreciated producer too.
And been in the game since the 80s.
Forever, and maintain that same energy throughout. That's the other thing.
We'll take your lunch money and eat with you. And eat with you after you take your lunch money. Well, you'll eat while you watch.
Yeah.
Big up. How you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm great, man. I'm great.
That's good.
Selfishly, I got no business feeling this good, man.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
How you doing?
That's how it is when you ain't got to go to school and go to work. You get a week off. It's a little different. I feel pretty good myself. I ain't got to go tell kids to get out the hallway, stop cussing, stop doing this. Oh my goodness, I miss them for this long, but we'll be
shout
back.
out to the remixers too. Good morning. It's we get a actually we're not on break yet. I just don't have classes today.
Oh, okay. So
the break officially starts tomorrow.
Oh yeah. That's high school and stuff like that. Week.
Yeah. My oldest is home. She's on her break. My youngest is on her way to school.
Okay.
They're not on break yet, and but my students. But that actually one of the little things I wanted to share this morning. It extends from that because
do share.
Well, it was just one of those nice moments because on the one hand, we had a lot of students skipping yesterday. A lot of people started their vacation early.
Hell yeah.
So people are out. And by my third class, sometimes it's a little irritating. I'm not going to front. I get it, but it's
I mean, they trying to get on this early airport. The airport.
Yeah,
crazy.
but we still have class. You know what I'm saying? And I got stuff I want to do. I want to use my time. I want to.
You're their employee. They pay you to be there.
Well, so that's something Dr. Burroughs said to me when he was still working with me years ago. That was his major problem. That students see us as their employees, which is not really how it's supposed to work because. It's not, because then people by extension say, well, technically the police or the firefighters or whoever is, you could then say the military who live off of our taxes, they're our employees too. And in the logic, it don't really, you start to see it fall. It don't make no sense.
Yeah.
So it's but what that has also meant, and a lot of this I think this is another topic, but I think a lot of this has been supported by administrations. They've wanted to, it works at times to their benefit to dislodge the chain of command and have faculty be less respected by students who are encouraged to see faculty as their employees. which is not what that's not what it is. That's not the relationship. So, but that's a separate thing. But students were out. Students were
they ain't come.
So by the third class, I was just sitting in the classroom. One or two stragglers had come in, and I was just basically talking. And then actually, let me skip that. I'm sitting there, and I'm actually like waiting, and then I leave. I just start to leave because nobody had showed up at this class. And so as I'm walking out, this one student who has been consistent all semester with her interest in the class, she shows up and she's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And I was like, "Nobody was here." So she was like, "I was just late." She was almost 10 minutes late, and I was like, "All right," So then she basically said, "I really want this class." She's always the one. I'm doing the best I can to cross this long distance on campus to get here. I want this class. She was like, "Oh," and then she said, "So," and then she actually said, "So can I then get like?" She said, "So if the class isn't here and I'm here, does that mean I get a privileged one-on-one?"
Oh, okay.
So I was like, and honestly, at the moment, I was like, man, I'm halfway out the door. So I'm like,
She boosted your ego with the privileged one-on-one.
No, it wasn't that, but it wasn't the ego thing. But what it was actually the opposite. It was the humility thing. It was, I need to whatever, because I was in my own feelings internally. Like, y'all don't want to show up. I put in all this effort. I'm in my own mind. I'm like,
about you.
And I was like, I'm just going to leave then. Of course it's not about me. So, but her point was, but really what it was humbling, because it's not me. She wants knowledge. She wants, if anything, I'm just a conduit like other faculty were for me when I was younger. Like, I just, it's not personal. I just, you're providing me with a perspective and a set of information that I really want and appreciate, and I'm looking for it. I'm hungry for it. So I said, you know what? Let's go back. We sat down in the classroom, and then she just started asking questions. We started to build, and then the other beautiful thing was, even though they were wild late, other stragglers start to show up. So we ended up having an impromptu small class session more broadly about the world. And but it was in one of those moments where students were not being compelled through grading or points or attendance records to be there. So they just want, and that's those oh my goodness.
It is. I feel you. It's because it's like they want to be there. Like you said, for some students, like I deal with students that, they just get dropped off because it's after school and they don't really want to be there. But it's some students that's like, "Oh man, we not having class. I wanted to do this," and you be like, "Oh, that's what I'm talking about." But yeah, the fact that you could just have that those conversations, and it's like, fuck the lesson plan. Let's just talk. That's the beauty.
Yeah, it was great. So we ended up having a really good build, and then it actually ran over class time. So it was like it just so it was dope. It was very dope.
You know what's funny? One of my favorite professors is my great friend to this day. Like, really, as in we have those conversations after class. We would go out and we would go hiking. We would go, like, those type of bonds you build. Do you have those with any type of your students, or ever any of them ever come up and be like, let's have some type of organization or something within?
Yeah, I mean, over the years, there's been a number of them, and none that have survived, at least on campus, in any particular formation. But there are, there's been a number who have, and then there have been a number who I sometimes will see pop up in like real life organizational spaces because they joined through some sort of encouragement in my classes. So yeah, and that's, you know, those are also dope moments too. So
big up to professors, teachers, all y'all need this little break right here. I get it, and yeah, keep going hard. And
I don't like this break. I think it's perfectly poorly timed for something that celebrates genocide.
I see.
Because I
don't even think about it because I don't celebrate that. Like, I just look at it as a break. I don't celebrate the genocide.
So that was part of our conversation yesterday. So, by the way, speaking of that history, Nick Estes is going to be on the show Friday morning. A big time indigenous scholar and activist. So we look forward to that.
You know what it is? What you're saying is my daughter called and was like, "Ooh, I'm cooking something this year." Like, I get it. It's a break. That's how I look at it. I'm cooking something this year. It's like I get to see the elevation of family. I get to see them be like, I'm cooking this, I'm doing that. And it's almost like a timestamp. So it's like I get to hang with them. We get to have conversations about any and everything. And every year people like us will bring up the whole, what Thanksgiving is, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
but they get it by now. But it's really about that friends and family getting together, playing some cards, chilling, having a good time, and seeing each other. People coming in and out of town you ain't seen in a while because they have off. That's what I look at it. We're all off right now, and we can celebrate. I don't celebrate that holiday, so I guess
so many people say that, and that is what I think makes it so insidious, because it doesn't require some overt conscious, I love this holiday because of the history and what it doesn't require that. It unconsciously even forces us to pay homage and respect to an ongoing genocide of an indigenous population. Absolutely. No.
I get the American tradition, but
no. All of this stuff. Yes, that's the point. That's the beauty of not just the propaganda, but the institutional arrangement of the schedule. That's the point. That we can all say, we all do variations of it. We say, I've rationalized it by saying I get my 5 minutes to rant before everybody eats. Or I get to, I get to use it to have conversations or show documentaries or even sometimes force readings of certain things. But the reality is that's not, I don't think, the end result is some radical adjustment of consciousness. What it does is it's the reverse. It even unconsciously forces us to participate in a grand commemoration of a nightmare. So if that's so yesterday a group of students said, so what would you really want to see? And I said honestly, myself included, if we were more properly conscious and organized, we would use these days to turn them into mass days of protest. We would reject the family gatherings. We would reject the football viewings. We would reject any of it. And then we would say, we're going to use our political consciousness and familial consciousness to organize family gatherings on some other day. The idea that we can't do anything until the state says you have this time off is a little bit misleading. People travel all the time. People go places all the time. People act like this is the one time in a year that they can actually leave and go do something, which is not true. People could organize to say, we're all going to call in sick on May 19th and commemorate Malcolm's birthday or something like, we could all say, and we're going to gather we're going to turn that weekend into a 4-day weekend and hang out. And, so separately, practically, in terms of my job, I also hate it because people take this week off. Then we come back for literally 2 classes, and then people go off to finals. And the last week is always some crazy vibe because everybody's exhausted, laid out, turkey hung over or other hungover, and nobody's got the right energy, and everybody knows the finish line is right there. So it's like, I would rather just work through it and end the semester earlier and whatever. But no, we got to stop and commemorate this ridiculous national recognition under the pretense of family, football, food, I don't really celebrate that, you know. And but that's it's not, I'm guilty. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not, I at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do. It just happens. Like, I don't, you know, and as a vegan at this point, I'm not even really eating. So I'm not even like, there's nothing.
I think that's part of it too. No,
it really isn't.
For a lot of people, well, maybe not you, but for a lot of people that really eat, like eat all these different types of foods, it's a feast, a festival. You go house to house to eat and eat and eat and eat and drink and drink and drink and smoke and smoke and smoke. But
the idea that it couldn't happen any other day or
because we are prisoners of war. We are on a plantation that allows us, just like they did back in the slavery times, a Sunday. This is our Sunday right here, where we get to congregate, get together, be with family, eat, have our own gospel, you know what I'm saying, and do our own thing. So as prisoners of war, this is our time where we're able to do this. So, yeah, it would be great if we could organize and get another day, another week, but that's when all the people stop working and people ain't got to go to work and then people get off. So it's designed for that, even if we wanted to do it on another day.
So if we're going to use your analogy, then we could refer to some of the great recent work from Morisami Burton, or the discussions with the PPs we have around here on a regular basis, and realize that POWs organize even within the walls differently. They've done different things to resist the institutional imposition of nonsense. So that would be sort of what I'm advocating. I'm saying, okay, fine, we're prisoners of war, but then let's organize some other way of engaging that time off.
So then that's going to only leave you and people have a certain consciousness. Other people outside, like in your family, that don't have that level of consciousness, they don't come. They don't get to come. At least now we able to deal with the unconscious and the conscious at the same time. But if they was like, oh, hell no, I got to.
But if anyone, family or not, that actually wanted to see me said, I'm only ever going to show up on this one day a year, then what are we really saying? Because the point, my point is, let's gather either differently when we meet this day, or let's gather on another day. That's ultimately all I'm
I guess the only time I see family is at funerals. We don't hardly get married. Funerals or holidays. That's really the only time I have a free schedule to go see anybody. And then
I don't really believe that, though.
Can we take control?
Think about your life. You don't travel. You don't take vacations.
I don't, because I'm as you say, an entrepreneur. So I have to be here to make money. I don't get a regular check. I have to be around vacations.
I feel like I saw vacation you in DC a couple months ago.
That's my sister stay there. I had to go help.
That's my point.
That wasn't a vacation. that wasn't a vacation.
That wasn't a vacation.
That was when we came up to do the thing.
I know, but we hung out and had a pretty good time. And my point is, that's
because
my point.
Planned. Yeah, we planned.
That's my point.
As a conscious group, but we talking about people outside of the conscious group. The family that's not conscious. That's what I'm saying. So can we take the power like we did from the word nigga, as we took over the word nigga and say nigga?
But I don't agree with that.
We can't take the power
from that. I don't believe in that stuff at all.
Well, you say
I don't beef with people who use there's been no power takeover, because look at the conditions of the communities. Look at the people.
I feel you
what
on
power?
That.
What
I get
power?
you on that. I get you on that. But I mean, there's certain things I think that we can take advantage of and not give them the power of saying this is what it is for you. Like, you could take something over and be like, yo, this is my meaning to it. I think we could do that. Instead of trying to organize a whole nother day around their system, we can take their shit and be like, you know what? This is our shit now.
Okay, but my point is that's not what's happening. That's really all I'm saying. And this
Mhm.
claim that a lot of us make that, well, I'm not really overtly consciously celebrating. I'm just gathering for family. I'm just watching football. That's my point, though. That
Mhm.
is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That is doing it. We are participating in the grand celebration of this history. That's the whole point. So I don't.
But ain't that every holiday? Sit down.
Yes.
Eat, drink.
But that's the point of the holidays.
Congregate.
This is, and look at how they spread them out. They magically spread them out so that it's constantly driving commercialism throughout the whole year. They and then they concoct things that don't mean anything to anybody, like Valentine's Day, so they can do the same, and St. Patrick's Day. So it's just an extension, and we just follow along. And it's like, you know,
A lot of food, a lot of turkey. But I tell you who ain't no jive turkey. Kim Brown. Okay, Kwame. Polka dot era is back. I see you.
It don't take
wow.
a minute to know I care for you. Love,
No,
there for you.
You do.
Only
The
you.
recall is crazy.
No.
Hey, she be on his songs.
I know. I don't. Yeah.
Yo,
That's
up,
the
Kim?
part I might remember. That melody. That's about it.
So Kim, you walked into a holiday discussion. We taking over. We take Madonna. We taking over Thanksgiving. Or we not taking over Thanksgiving? What's
When you
your
say
thought?
takeover, I don't follow the concept. When you
Takeover,
say
breaks
takeover.
over. We can talk rap lyrics all day. I mean,
Hey, oh,
Actually,
no,
wait a-
Dunny, you ain't ready for war. Oh, sorry.
This is very. So later today, a student is interviewing me about hip hop.
Ooh.
And one of the questions I've been asked to prepare is, what was my favorite live performance?
Oh, that's a toughie.
So with the two of you here in particular, that I'm now. Kim, now go ahead. If we want to bring Kim into the whole Thanksgiving thing, that's fine. But
Okay.
I'm actually I was actually looking forward to asking you both that question.
Okay.
So before I forget, let me throw that out on the table for.
Red and Meth. Jumping on speakers, Month of the Man. There you go.
You saw
Oh.
Month of the Man show too, here,
They
Doctor?
came to Morris Brown College and jumped around in the gym on the speakers, on the rafters. Yes.
That is because I've told this story. I'm not gonna tell it again, but that's the same tour that Redman saved my life.
Yeah.
December 1998 at the Ritz nightclub. I almost got trampled, crushed, whatever you want to call it. And Red saved me. I almost died.
My top
Wow.
3 is NERD concert with Pharrell and them.
Yeah, buddy.
And the crowd surfing was crazy.
Wow.
And the energy. And then MOP. When I went to see MOP, I lost my voice yelling so loud. Yeah. Henny up. So, what about you?
I've
Me?
never seen MOP
Jamie.
live.
No, I'm
That's
talking
cool.
about as your best concert, Kim. Livest.
It's like picking kids. It's how do I pick a favorite? I don't know. Like when the Roots used to faithfully come to the 930
Oh,
Club
them
every
too.
holiday season, every December,
Mhm.
you could count on the Roots being in DC, and now they still do, I think, but they go to the Fillmore, they go to Kennedy Center. No, fuck all that shit. 930 Club niggas. That's it. I don't know. Look, come back to me. I'm a pass. I mean, come back to me.
This ain't no game show. What do you mean you gonna
Let me phone a friend. Let me get back to you because it's hard. Doctor. I mean, when I think about how many rap shows I've seen, Mos Def at the Kennedy Center killed it. Mos Def at the Nation nightclub killed it. Jay-Z at the Nation nightclub.
When
You
you walked out and you was like, yo, voice loss, sweating.
again,
It's
I
like
can't
most
count.
of 'em.
I can't
Oh,
count. how many
Hiram
times-
hating early. The Roots
What?
overrated.
Has he
said
not
the
gone to
Roots
one of their shows?
overrated.
Whoa.
Yeah, you need to relax there, Hiram. This ain't all about Wu-Tang. They for the children, but come on.
I'm talking about 2000s Roots, Hiram. Calm down. Be easy. Before the whites figured out who they was.
When things was falling apart, Roots.
Right.
Come on.
Right, when it was
That
the
is
Illadope
hilarious.
Half-Life. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, nah, we not talking Jimmy Fallon Roots, nigga.
And then we
talk
talk about the
more Roots.
show. One of the
gotta
reasons
distinguish
them
that,
being
yeah.
a live band is different. It's different. Like that's why y'all talk about go-go. It's different when it's that live band experience, man.
And what I always appreciate about going to see the Roots, and you figure this out after going to see them over numerous years. Like they always are coming with a flip of an interpolation of a song. And when I saw them at the pageant in St. Louis in 2007 or 08, they did the Swing Out Sister. Don't stop to ask. You know you found a break to make. Y'all don't know the song. Wow. Okay. Well, anyway, they flipped that joint, and I remember. Oh, the Swing Out Sisters, and I remember I was down front, and I'm looking at Quest on the drums, and I'm like smacking my head. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe y'all did that. And Quest like pointed at me, laughing and shit. I'm like, dog, y'all niggas is great out here. Thank you so much for being great.
So,
Anyway.
so Jared, what you gonna tell them? Like, what's one of your?
I mean, off the top for me is always the two Lauryn Hill shows that I saw.
Really?
Yeah, I really thought those shows that when she had the live that you know, her album was out. Miseducation with the live band, the energy that she was doing variations of what Kim is talking about, you know, the band's playing some classic funk track that she's rhyming over. They do the band versus the DJ competition, which that was the one I was like, this this is some legendary shit right here. And just stuff like that, like that one. I'll also share the signature Jay-Z moment for me, where the fight breaks out and then he drops "You Don't Know" to get the crowd back, which I think is a quintessential hip hop moment.
Where was that, Jared? Where was the show?
I think it was at Nations. I think it was at Nations.
What year? Because I hosted one of them joints. I did host one of them Jay-Z joints in 2000. I think it was 01.
It would have been. It would have been around there because I remember being there with some organized cool folks. So that would have been around that time, and it was to tour that album.
Interesting.
And
I was there. I was.
Do you remember a fight breaking out by any chance? That's the
kinda because I remember anyway because I'm a goofball. But anyway, I wore a oversized Warren Sapp jersey '99 when he played for the Bucks. So I was wearing a red Warren Sapp jersey and some gray sweats.
Damn, you good?
Well, I have it on tape first of all, and. Because there was so many thirst buckets at the radio station coming up there with half shirts on because Jay-Z's at the fucking radio station. Who gives a shit? I put on a goddamn big ass jersey. No, nigga, you can't see my body out here today.
Your milkshake is not for the yard.
Nigga, what? But anyway, I hosted the joint, and I remember when before Jay came on stage, I'm like, all right, y'all, let's show Jigga Man that we out DC out here. Y'all drop it. 3, 2, 1, Crowd Jigga. And I said, what's his motherfucking name? Crowd Jigga. Who y'all come to see? Who, Jim, nigga? Oh yeah. Jared, you seen me out there. Let me find out.
I'm saying
I've said to you before, I'm sure we've been in the spot at the same time. I'm sure there's been overlap more than once.
Probably
at this
10
point.
times.
But
we've probably been in the damn 10 times at the same spot.
There's just too many venue overlap, name drops. It's too much. The 930 Club, of course, all of that, like, you know. But that moment though, because he hadn't played the song yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being irritated. I was already like, really, we doing that here? Like, really, it's this stupid ass fake fights or whatever. Like, go outside and whatever, you know. And then he saw what was happening. So he stopped the song he was playing and told whoever was DJing to drop that. And then you just heard the crack, and everybody just turned right back around. And I was like, he knows what he's doing. This is so that would be one. Yeah, go ahead.
I did see Wu-Tang and Biggie perform.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
On the
And
same
then
show?
Same show at the garage down here in Atlanta in '95. And then I got to see KRS-One and Black Moon perform at what's the name in New York. Those are some live shows right there.
I've seen KRS a few times. He is a beast, but I wouldn't say that. I don't know. For some reason, I don't know. Had good times at the show. I don't know, but I don't. Um, I saw somebody. My brother mentioned Chuck Brown. I was at that 9:30 Club taping where they taped the.
I was
the
there
album.
too.
See, I told you. I told you.
I was there because I think because Little Bitty was still alive. Didn't Little Bitty come out with Chuck?
Yep.
Wow,
And
Jared,
so-
stop following me around town.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm
Y'all
trying
be
to
at the
tell you
spots.
because I remember they had all the cameras up and the extra
Yeah,
like
buddy.
boom, whatever, all the stuff was up, and so every time I listened to it, I was like, I'm like. I joke around even with my kids in the car. Like when you hear the crowd, of course, I'm like, that was me.
Mm.
They're like, you don't hear nothing. You don't hear no crowd, Daddy. I'm like, yeah, that was me. You can hear me in the back if you listen real. Listen.
That was the night Biggie asked me for a blunt outside in the parking lot, and I was like,
wow, you left
Yeah.
that part. That was that.
Yeah,
You need to
yeah.
start with that.
Yeah, we was out, me and my boy Corey Brown. Big up to Corey Brown. We was sitting in the truck, blazing. Next thing you know, Biggie like, yo, you got a blunt? I'm like, bro, right
Of
here.
course.
It's like, yeah, but we ain't got no extra ones. He's like, damn.
Oh wow. Now I know it's a true story. Classic ear doctor. Unless you got
Yeah,
five
we
on
got
it,
one.
motherfucker. With your big rapping ass. You got five.
We,
That is hilarious.
yeah. So got to talk to Biggie for 2 seconds. So yeah,
Wow.
man.
I've
Good
seen
shows.
Wu-Tang at Howard.
Woo!
And
I remember hearing about that show.
I was at one of those we went to a couple of those Howard homecomings, and they're a little bit of a blur. But I do remember, and and what I remember, because Meth and Red were at that, Tribe was at that,
Tribe, I seen Tribe.
and I just remember this scene of like, I think they just brought everybody out on stage, and I literally couldn't tell who had the mic. I couldn't see what was going on. It was just this mass of
Quintessential rap show of the 90s.
right.
Like, just a mass of niggas. Who the fuck is rapping?
And one of the it is true, like some of the shows didn't always have great sound. Like that would sometimes be issues too. Like, you know, like there was back in the day some
My bad. Nas in Madison Square Garden. I got to see him, and this is when you could smoke trees in the garden. So,
oh wow.
I mean, when Ultra Black came, oh my God. Red, black, and green lights flashing all over the place. Everybody just waving like, and then Mary J came out, Slick Rick came out. It was,
oh wow, that's a hell of a show.
That was, yeah. And I was like, we can smoke in there?
Now I see, like,
I'll be back.
Like my brother's like mentioning like James Brown, the Whispers, of course.
Talking about rap shows, brother.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, brother, because I was like,
rap shows, brother Jamil. Rap.
That's
shows.
his rap era. What do you mean? They was rapping.
Otherwise,
James was rapping.
I would have said Prince if we're doing all shows. Like I would have obviously said Prince, but Dead Prez is a good show too. That's another good shout out.
Got to see
I saw Dead Prez at the 930 Club. Tickets was $10, and it's when they did that. They came out to that "We Need a Revolution, We Need a Revolution" over the Aaliyah joint. I was like, that's crazy.
Best R&B I've seen was Jill Scott.
Jill is a great show. I've seen seeing her perform with the Roots. When she came out, they brought her out to show, and I remember they said, "This is the one who really did the song," did that kind of thing. It was like,
Ooh, no, Jill is unfair. It's unfair to see Jill live. Unfair.
And jazz performer Liz Wright, I got to see her. She was unbelievable. I know y'all probably don't know her.
I don't know I'm not familiar, unfortunately.
But yeah,
seen Incubus 10 times.
Oh yeah.
I'm still waiting for the opportunity. Hopefully, Guns N' Roses will survive another summer. Maybe I can catch them out, before while everybody's still around.
Ooh, that's survive another Jasmine Sullivan. I want to see her. I love her voice.
I wouldn't mind seeing Jasmine Sullivan perform.
Sade.
What's the chick from Alabama Shakes? I keep wanting to call her Brittany Murphy, but it's not Murphy. It's Brittany.
I just call them Alabama Shakes. I didn't know her name.
Well, she has a name. If Moosa's in the chat, Moosa knows that everybody, y'all should know. But anyway, she's really good. Like, she's actually extremely good live. I meant to bring her up when we were talking about women guitar players, because she actually played guitar and sang. I was super impressed with young Brittany up there.
Brittany Howard.
Howard.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you so much. She's great. If you get a chance to see Brittany Howard live, go do that.
Yeah, I've seen Sade's new song and video.
Sade got a new job?
Yeah, called Young Lion for her daughter that turned into a boy.
So for her son.
Yeah.
Got it. I saw Sade live. I took my mom.
It's called Young Lion.
That's what's up.
And the video is dope because it shows
The correction is hilarious. Oh, so her son.
It shows throughout the video her daughter throughout the whole video growing up, and then next thing you know, daughter got the beard and everything, and I'm like, oh, okay. So she was apologizing, saying I didn't know, to her son.
You could just say her child.
There we go, her child.
If you have a hard time keeping it straight, just say her kid, her child. Sade is great live, y'all. I took my mom when you had a job making good money. We went up to Philly to go see Sade. Tickets were very expensive, but she was great. John Legend opened for her. And I said, we in the hotel. I said, Mom, you trying to go see John Legend? She was like, eh. And I'm like, eh. I said, okay, well, fuck it. We get there after John Legend.
He got
both
a good
of us
show,
said, eh.
I heard he got a good show.
Somebody in the chat said they did.
I'm sure he does. I just wasn't interested. You know what I mean? Like the time I took my mama to see Tina Marie at Constitution Hall, the Whispers were opening. I said, Mama, you trying to get there in time to see the Whispers?
What? Not the Whispers?
Your Brother Jamil's having a fit.
Me and my mother were kind of on the Whispers.
Pick your coffee up, bro.
I don't know.
She want to rock steady? Come on.
We was like, yeah, we get there in time to see Tina. We get there in time to see Tina. Which, by the way, if we're doing best R&B show, let me throw Tina Marie ass up there.
Okay.
Oh, an
look at Hiram
night for the ages.
Hiram said I booed John Legend to his face.
He said he booed John Legend
to his face. Damn.
Hiram seems like the kind of gentleman that would, yes, that tracks. And good for you, Hiram. Should boo that nigga. That nigga deserved to be booed.
His talents does not deserve to be booed, especially that first album. Y'all need to cut it out. That first album, Get Lifted,
you played that on the Wake and Bake. Y'all heard you play Get Lifted. Yeah, that joint was
I'm saying, y'all don't.
No, I wouldn't boo. I wouldn't go to the show, but I don't know that he needs to get booed to his face. Damn.
I watch him on YouTube. I wouldn't give him money at the concert though.
He opened for Sade though. I said, all right, young man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was Sade's opening act for that tour.
Now that feels appropriate. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like if I showed up to see Sade and got John Legend I'd be like, all right, I'll check out the show.
Yeah, we saw his last song. It was no. Yo, me and my mother will diss the opening act. Like, fuck that. We ain't breaking our neck to get
wow. I love it.
Speaking of, I went to my homeboy had a comedy show down here. It's my first time ever going to a comedy show.
What? In your life?
Really?
In my life. Yeah.
Impossible. I don't believe that.
So I went, and I got a question that comes with this. And he wasn't funny.
Shit.
He wasn't funny. And then the main act, Michael Collier, wasn't funny. The person that opened before had a couple jokes. It was good. But the thing is, it was the second show, and he got smoked out. And then he did the show. Now, I was asking y'all, does that help or hinder before you go do a performance or before you get in front of a classroom, before you get on a microphone? Do you smoke or not? Does that help or hinder? Because for me, I don't.
No.
If I do like a wedding or anything, I don't. But when it comes to like DJing a house party, if it's happening at the time, pass it, I'm good. What's your?
I feel like this has to be posed to Jared Ball in which era, which of Jared's eras, which of Jared's several epochs, like which one? this latest iteration, I don't think so for JB. For me, no sir. Every time I've smoked weed in tried to do an air shift or had to go host up, I always regretted it. I'm like, God damn it.
You be in your mind.
Man, I know, but I'm supposed to be talking.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You be in your mind, you be like, damn.
I'm supposed to be talking up here. Listen, I'll tell y'all a quick story. So the one time I met Snoop Dogg, Snoop came to DC. He was supposed to come up to the station to do an interview. I was so disappointed he didn't come. He called in. I'm like, oh, nigga, come on. And I had just came from motherfucking either downtown locker room or Shoe City or somewhere, and I had this fresh Snoop t-shirt. This joint was fresh. It was green. It had Snoop lettering across it, and then Snoop is a picture of Snoop on the joint, and he's got all this weed in his hand. He's just going like this. The t-shirt was hard, and I wore that shit. I'm like, yo, because I was a huge Snoop fan. I'm like, nigga, what? So there was a record rep at the station. He was like, yeah, I'm like, damn, I got to go this place. And he's like, I'll take you by the hotel if you just wanted to say hi to Snoop. And I'm like, and I was always reluctant, very reluctant. I did not like to go to rappers' hotel rooms by myself because, niggas is rapey. So I'm like, so I never wanted, I always was I never like to put myself in that situation, being in anyone's fucking hotel room. But this guy, he seemed to be okay. So I'm like, all right, I'll go with you. Snoop is in there. It's Snoop, that nigga Daz, and I thought it was somebody else. But anyway, these niggas is in there eating. Snoop is in there ironing in his pants. This is when he was still on No Limit. He has this giant No Limit pendant chain that's just sitting on the bed. I'm just sitting on the bed, not, everything's on the up and up, but I'm just sitting on the bed. I'm looking at this fucking chain. This joint is like this. So Snoop, these niggas start smoking. Yo, they passed me to Jay. I had never smoked no Cali. This was like 2000. I had never smoked no Snoop shit.
Stop.
Dog, I had to go to the club that I couldn't talk. I could not talk. I was just present at the club with the mic in my hand. Like,
no.
All right.
Yes.
Hands up. Nigga, what? No. So no, me and marijuana and work do not mix.
Yeah, I feel you. What about you, Jared?
In general, the rule is no.
Mm-hmm.
And someone asked, do I smoke before my classes? And no. The general rule is no, because even even when we were doing Mama's Biscuits, it's very true. There's that cliche that you think you're performing better than you are. And like so like.
Body, like.
Yeah, and you feel like sometimes. I remember one time we got a recording, and I remember during the playing of it, we were all lit and drunk, and I was like, "This is the greatest shit ever! This show, we must be killing it."
Send this to the label.
You know what I'm saying? Drop the mixtape, something, put it out in the streets, and then we heard a tape of it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is horrific." And you just rely on people in the audience being as twisted as you are to not catch all the. But no, yeah, in general, especially if I have to speak or talk, or if I have to give a presentation, or if I know I'm going to be in some sort of hostile exchange or disagreement, no, because it's for me at least, it's a very introverting, experience to smoke at least. And when I've been overly lubricated, it feels in the moment like I'm doing great. Like even a conversation, like I'm like, I was like, I was gonna let that go. I'm trying to elevate. I'm trying to elevate because I quickly. So I went through a whole microsecond process of I want to say that word. I know what it's gonna do, but I'm gonna do it anyway because we're elevating. And then I got called out. So I hear it, but I hear it as it happens. Charles in the chat, I see you, Lou, praising. I get it. But I
think that the Brainiacs, like the Jareds, the Kamals, etc., y'all would do good off the amphetamines, off the fucking like the Vyvanse. What's the real not Ritalin?
Opioid type shit?
No, the smart shit, the shit that the kids take.
Adderall.
Adderall. There we go. Like Jared, you on Adderall, you would black out on niggas. You would be up there sounding.
That's funny. Maybe I should try that.
You should try it.
I'm like real basic with my I'm like in the basic food groups of consumption, so I haven't tried some of these other things.
No, a lot of
Ooh, him Adderall in the debate. We ain't seen that yet.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Jared,
That's funny.
I thought you was the master of los drogas. So you don't even know. You ain't
No.
even
I'm
up.
just the 4 basic food groups. So like I that's what I'm saying. Like like when I do remember in high school when I first started hearing about ecstasy, and I remember hearing some students talking about it, and I was already kind of like, nah, this is already off my basic food group list. I'm just gonna stick to the. So I missed a lot of that stuff. And the Adderall, I never.
Yeah, but you got insurance. You can go get,
Stop trying to be a pusher. Ice-T over here, the pusher.
She said you got insurance. I got good insurance. I'm
Making it
over
sound
insured.
real good.
I might. Yeah. All right. Let's,
Watch, Jared, go get that shit. Go get you a low. I'm telling you, because you've never taken it, even like a low dose, nigga. Like that shit. You remember Limitless? You ever seen the movie Limitless?
Yes, that was good.
Now it's not quite the Limitless experience, but for someone that's never done it before, you'd be like, nigga, I am focused. Where's Dyson at? You're gonna call up Greg Carr immediately.
Yes. What was you saying though? What was you saying?
Now.
That is hilarious.
That would be crazy.
Okay, all right.
Oh, see now, look at it. Look, see, you remind me, Kim, of that commercial.
I'm struggling with this book chapter, and you know what's really messing me up is that there's 3,500 word limit on this small. And that I have to do what I think I need to do. It makes it very difficult for me to get it all organized. So maybe, no, that's funny. Reliant.
I guess it's time to go ahead and take a break with Kim with her commercial back in the 90s to make you feel good.
Let me tell you something. That is the funniest commercial. You know why? Because when I was a kid, I had no idea what in the hell was being waved. And it'll make you feel. I'm like, what is he? Why is he waving that white stick in front of his person's face? Like, I learned more about drugs from the anti-drug commercials because I'm like, what are all these things? What is this? What's in that box? You, Dad. I learned it from you.
Oh, I remember that one.
I remember one time. There was one friend of mine. We used to time line snorting for when the commercials would come on. We would be like, let's wait for the next Nancy Reagan commercial. We go snort lines while she talking about don't do drugs. Like, just say no. Yeah. Run that. Yeah.
Like Waka Flocka. Pow, 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 pow.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot one of my kids is home. Damn.
Oh, man. Let's take a break.
I forgot. Let's take a break. Damn.
Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show, y'all, where you gonna hear any and everything. We'll be back right after this break. Let's go. You little mustard head. Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare. And you can also go to the bottom of the screen. If you don't see it, let me let y'all know. BLKLiberationMedia.org. Go there to donate. Donate. And let's keep this train going. All right, you know what time it is. I can't snap the map because I ain't got my screen up. So let's just get into it anyway. Let's talk about this weather. All right, boom. ATL, we got a high today of 63 degrees. Nice and 63-ish. DC is about the same. They 62 degrees. Big up to DMV area. Big up to all my peoples from the DMV. Big up to Chicago. They are like 20 degrees colder. We talk about 40 degrees. So go get your Sherlins, go get your Bombers, your Goose Downs. I don't know what the new jackets are now. They probably named after some Italian guy. But next, let's take it out to Denver, Colorado. They got a high today of 53 degrees. Oakland, California, 58 degrees. Jamaica, Kingston, Big up, big up, big up, big up. They got a high of 80 degrees. And last but not least, let's go to the motherland, no other land. Let's go to Dakar, Senegal. They got a high of 86 degrees. Now, that's pretty hot, but I'll tell you who else was pretty hot. Your boy Drake is pretty hot. He's actually looking at trying to sue. So boom. So this is what happened, right? So we all know that Kendrick Lamar just dropped his new album, and a lot of pressures right now on Drake. Like, oh, word, you got a new album? Yeah, okay. So he's trying to sue the record label, UMG, calling them. He's saying pretty much like y'all put bots out. Y'all got all this money y'all put behind and Not Like Us. You manipulated and saturated the streaming service and the airways with that song. And y'all pretty much, I'm trying to sue y'all. So I've never heard anybody try to sue somebody in a rap battle, but it's different times now. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that. And I would say that's pretty crazy. That's mad crazy right there. But yeah, so that's that light skin. Anyway, let's go ahead and get right back to it on the Remix Morning Show, because we are going to keep it hot for you. Let's go.
How you drop out those crazy dun, 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 burn, yo.
Sorry.
Hey, you know, sometimes some of these beats get caught. You know who I can't play? De La Soul. As soon as I play De La Soul, they like, we want our money. We ain't got it for years. They're getting it whenever their song plays. So copyright. But yeah, ain't that wild? Suing in a battle.
Drake. Oh man, so many levels of disappointment. So many levels of disappointment. This to me, yes, the allegations and all the stuff he's at least alleged to have done is bad. In a sort of less serious, symbolic way, this is got to be among the worst betrayals of personhood, of hip hop ever. Like this is crazy level ridiculous. And he is, and to your point about the light skins, it's the hope for us mixed black Jews, like our survival rates are dropping. Like this dude is like single-handedly destroyed. I mean, seriously, it's like
Wesley
my man,
Snipes
like
is sitting around like
exactly, like and like Drake. Some of us got to live too. Like I got to go out into the world too, my guy. You know what I mean? Help us out a little bit. This is
damn.
This is seriously though. This is somebody in his camp has got to be able to influence him to exert some logic and some self. What is the word? Just some self-esteem, some pride, and just say, my guy, go.
That was right.
In an academic context, we just had this. Shout out to some of my colleagues. Had a really great experience. Oddly enough, in my job, but one of the things that was said was, if you have a problem, you might have to write your way out of it. You have to publish your way out of this problem, so you can have options. And somebody needs to be telling him, don't write legal charges, write rhymes, dude.
There it is.
Get to the book and put some shit out if you got, if you want to strike back. But this is just another, you just throw more dirt on the grave type thing.
That's that Canada Dry shit.
Canada out of it.
Right now,
Toronto said, "Nigga, leave us out of there."
They serving ginger ale with no ginger in it. I don't know. I don't get it. But go ahead.
No, Drake ushered in a very Disappointing era for hip hop when it was the rise of Drake and the rise of like Rick Ross. I'm like, nigga, what? I couldn't believe millennials. Shame on you, millennials, for elevating a fucking police officer to the heights of rap music. I couldn't believe that shit. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are these kids loving Rick Ross? I'm like, don't they know he's a police? And they're like, yeah, we know he's a police, but this shit, I'm like, oh my god.
Every day I'm hustling.
Where are the values, children? Where are the values? Him being police should have automatically disqualified him.
That was the hardest song that summer, though, when that came out.
I know, but the police made it, Ear Doctor. Doesn't that immediately render it hard? Like, nigga, Officer Ricky Ross. That's why, I want Diddy also. Diddy should also be brought up on charges because 50 was ready to end that nigga. 50 was on Rick Ross's ass as the biggest troll on earth. So y'all remember 50 was leaking. I mean, it was terrible. He should not have done that, but he was leaking Rick Ross's baby mother sex tape, crazy shit. I mean, audacious shit in the early aughts that we would certainly not tolerate now. But 50 was on his way to ending Rick Ross, and Diddy interceded. I said, "Ain't this a bitch? We're supposed to get 50. That cop up out of here."
It's so funny you said that. Somebody in our remix community encouraged me to watch the show Cross on one of these platforms.
Cross. What is that?
It's about a brother who's a cop.
With Tyler Perry?
It's not. No. Tyler Perry played the role in the movie, which is the reason why one of the many reasons why I was hesitant. But I did. I watched episode 1 up until you hear Rick Ross. And I said, I can't do it. Because and they play Every Day I'm Hustling in a scene where this brother who's supposed to be, it's like a montage of him in these DC streets being cool with the community, dapping everybody loves him, he's on his way to work, and then they drop that song. And I was like, so first of all, for some of the reasons Kim mentioned, I don't want to hear it. Second of all, if he's supposed to be the man of the streets in DC, that's not what I want to hear them playing.
Yeah.
Where's the Chuck or something? Throw something in there. Throw a pocket in there that shows he's really a man of the streets. I don't know about Wale, but do something else. But when I heard that, I was like, he's a cop. Tyler Perry played this role. It's on this platform, and then now they're playing this song. I clicked off on it. So that's as far as I got in episode 1. So if the show actually becomes good or usable politically, I'm probably not going to find out. So sorry, whoever suggested that.
Now I think about it, ain't no street rappers I could think of that come out of DC and Baltimore. They like, it's more money in this drug game than rapping or something. I can't think of no street rappers that come out of DC and Baltimore. Anyway.
I think in general, the game is hard to make money off of, like, for real. There's not many that are actually.
Well, and they may not be national, but they're here, right? So, like, there is a Baltimore rap scene. There's definitely a DMV rap scene. And they may not be well known beyond the region. I mean, but nigga, I'm old. I don't know. I don't have a goddamn. I don't have a clue.
I don't know anymore.
I don't think so. All right, cool. Well, that's what it is. I'll catch y'all on the next break. Peace.
All right. So are we gonna?
Baltimore kind of claims DMX. I mean, Yonkers.
Really?
Y'all need to relax with that.
Nah, DMX spent time in Baltimore, significant time. He would drop Baltimore in his lyrics.
Y'all got that kid with the big nostrils, but relax.
Take it up with him. Don't take it up with me. I'm just telling you what the man said in his rhymes. Me holler out you young in Baltimore.
No disrespect and rest in peace. I never listened to him that closely, and I have this is news to me. So that's fascinating.
Didn't know that. Interesting. No, well, obviously everybody knows Pac did his bid in Baltimore, did his thing in Baltimore. So Baltimore has influenced some of rap's biggest voices, I would say. But
when Elon said, "I made everyone watch the beginning of Cross episode 1 at Babsgiving. It did not go well." Were you the reason that I watched it? Was that your fault, Elon? I can't even remember. But if you self snitching, that's hilarious. So I know it's 9:00 or about to be 9:00. Should we slap the map?
Why not?
Or
go ahead.
Nope.
stepping into the news. I'll take it, even though I cannot get the Apollo Kids instrumental out of my head. Thank you so much, Ear Doctor. Welcome all. Today is Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. It's a Remix Morning Show. Your Howard County All-Stars are here joining you today. The Reverend Dr. Jared Ball, Kim Brown, North Laurel's finest. Jared representing that East Columbia.
East Side represented all day. Long reach in the building.
Which is wild because this is, it's some hood, and Jared literally legit comes out of the hood of Long
Harry Brink Lane. Trying to tell you, down the street from Flower Stock Row. Watch yourself out these streets.
Shit.
Hayshed Lane. Hayshed. Be careful. Careful.
Yeah.
Seriously though, it is funny. I mean, but Kim is not lying in strictly within the context of Columbia, Maryland. Those neighborhoods, yeah, I'm saying strictly within the context, they had a name. And Ride Out Heath, somebody said Wild Lake all day. Ride Out Heath
Lake
was
a little hood.
It's
teeny tiny hood.
Again, relatively speaking, it still resembles some of those. It's got But
Man,
yeah.
I went to school with this cracker. Well, I went to school with a lot of crackers. But anyway, I encountered one of these crackers I went to school with in life. Later on, we actually crossed paths at a radio station, and we found out we both went to the same high school. He ended up transferring to Glenelg Country School, just to give you an idea of the kind of money he come from, right? Yeah. He left my bougie fucking public school and went to a even bougier regardless. And he was like, "Oh, what, you went to, that high school?" And he's like, "Where'd you live?" I said, in Laurel. And he was like, "Oh, you live Whiskey Bottom?"
Yeah.
Like wide-eyed as though it's the heart of crime. I'm like, nigga, Whiskey Bottom? You think Canterbury is the ghetto? Like, look at these fucking crackers never leaving Howard County. They don't know nothing about nothing.
No.
North Laurel is the ghetto. Like, are y'all okay?
One of my early experiences was on my soccer team, and this white kid told me, "I'm not allowed to go to your house. Like, you live," and I was like, "What?" And he said, because I was like, I didn't understand. He was like, "You live," he didn't say the hood, but whatever the language was for elementary school kids at that in late 70s, early 80s, he said, because you live in a bad, my parents don't let me go over there. And I was like, really? I live in I didn't know I lived in a,
and I wasn't aware I was a ghetto resident.
I didn't, but eventually, and then people they would talk about Harry Brink Lane with this certain notoriousness. And I was like, wow. But then again, as I started to, but again, relative to this area, when you start to experience how other people are living, I get it. And even just a couple of years ago, again, related to my daughter's soccer, I went out to one of those. We had a parent meeting or gathering out at one of the parents' houses who live out in that Glenelg area. I had literally in my life never been there. I've never been to that area, literally never once. Really? And we went out not once. And I went out there.
World.
Oh my God.
Where you coming from?
I got a little salty. I became less social than normal even. I was pissed. I was looking out there, the big horse. They got the horses are living better. Like the horse barn was fly or whatever they call it. Like that I was seriously, I was looking at the house I was plotting. To be honest with you, I was just like, this is when I lose it for real, this is where I'm gonna be first. Now I know how to get here. This is where it's gonna start. I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, seriously, I don't get jealous like that. I get pissed. I get how the hell you living like this? This is absurd. This is absurd. I was like, no.
I find it where I went to school, when they were busing and districting my high school in the 90s, I'm like, this has got to be some sort of socioeconomic experiment, right? Because you busing us kids from North Laurel, which by the way, not the ghetto in my opinion, but we coming from North Laurel, very working class, very, blue collar, whatever. And my classmates are coming from Clarksville off Route 108, these $10 million fucking mansions. These motherfuckers, families own farms and shit. These niggas got brand new whips when they turn 16. And I'm like, this is just a recipe for disaster. There was many fights during my times at
I'm not surprised. And I get, like, even to this day, the Glenelg kids, there was all these N-word incidents at sporting events and stuff. Like, it's still going on. Like, it's And then it made me also realize, I was like, damn, because like the white kids I hung out with that I thought were like, I thought they were super rich. I thought, my goodness, but they just like regular. Like, oh, you was just middle class. Like, because like I had literally never seen this part of Howard County. I was like, this is.
Yeah, don't go out there. Don't go out to Glenelg. Don't go out to West Friendship. Don't go out there. Don't go out
I was
there.
getting pissed. Yeah.
Listen, I have a family member. I have a family member that lives out there, right? Bougie. I do have a tiny bougie contingent of my family. These niggas is bougie. And if they weren't my family members, I would maybe suggest to somebody go rob them because they don't live in reality. But anyway, so my family member's spouse, again, they've been living out Western Howard County for so long. We were in a family gathering and my mother had made the remark something about she had to pay her taxes, her county taxes. And my family member's spouse was like, oh, how much are your Prince George's County taxes? And mom was like, no, I live in Howard County. And she was like, really? Laurel is Howard County?
Wow.
Madam. What?
Dear heart.
Oh, really? I didn't even know they let Laurel be part of Howard County. Oh my God! Please shut up, please.
Hey, did Trump hire anybody new?
Oh wow! So, ear doctor, just to, because I know you
going up here, nigga. You gonna play voice of God, nigga? Then show yourself, Jesus. Don't sit in the back, nigga. If you're gonna dictate and yell at us and shit.
So Erica did hook us up with a stacked run sheet, which does include more on Ear Doctor's story about Drake accusing UMG and Spotify of a scheme to artificially inflate Kendrick Lamar's "Not Like Us."
It's called payola, good brother. It's a very long-standing practice. You should get familiar. You probably benefited from it at some point in your career, Jacob.
One, exactly. Bullet point A1. You benefited too, my guy. Like, stop fronting with your. That's why Mos Def called you target shopping music, my dude. Like that's like stop it. But the other thing is, maybe I'm even a victim of that payola. The track it smacks, as I've heard my kids say. The track is, so that's what I'm saying. You gotta like, I hear the track and like it. So it has reached everywhere. And but this idea that you're gonna take legal action against UMG and Spotify. What I do like about that story, and what I would want to make some use of it is to point out what Kim is saying. And that there is this incestuous relationship that is, I think, as tighter than ever between the record labels and these platforms, and that it is possible to generate popularity and hits between that relationship that would exist between Universal and Spotify. But to make that your plank to launch a response in this beef is just seems crazy. Levels of crazy to me.
It is on brand with his white side though, right? Like, not to say that black people aren't litigious, but the whites are extra litigious, right? Like, white people will sue over a myriad of things.
And I don't know, I'll push my identity rights here and make the joke about Jews and lawyers, so like we'll just leave that out there. So that's what it is, Drake. You're feeding into the stereotypes.
Feeding
the
into
anti-Jewish tropes. My dude, you're hurting all communities right now. You're hurting everyone. the black, the Jew, and the mixed. It's just it's
Mm.
a trifecta of hate and wrongdoing, Drake.
Wrong
Stop it.
doing. Leave it alone.
The people are united in their declaration of your wrongdoing. Just stop it. Yeah, that's
Takes L's, man.
Elon said, "Oi."
Everybody takes L's, man.
Ah.
Even even your favorite
Yeah.
rapper, the greatest rappers have taken L's. Like ether became a verb because of Nas. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like you got ethered.
You
You
got
know?
ether. Exactly.
This
So,
dude
and what
about
did
to
Jay-Z?
This dude
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
performing that song on the stage at the Super Bowl, yo, like a diss song. That's crazy.
That features reference to PDF-philia, as they say in these YouTube streets. So you've got millions of people calling out A minor. I mean, you got like that whole that's bad. That's a
Does
I
Kendrick
mean-
have clean hands? Like I don't know enough about either of these gentlemen. But are we sure it's not the pot calling the kettle? I don't know. Is Kendrick a good dude, bad dude? Who knows? I'll let the kids.
There's been a lot of allegations about his relationship with his I think wife. I think they are married, right? There were some allegations of some physical activity, inappropriate physical activity, but but even to the previous point, Skip Kuhn is right when he points out that they're both like Kendrick is a label baby too. I mean, he's out there parading his championship for Amazon. So and then he's got the whole American flag in his Super Bowl commercial. So he's in that realm, he's got dirty hands. I don't know to what extent some of the allegations or whatever else is true. But I mean, Drake, I don't know. There were promises that he was going to. I don't know. I didn't follow it closely enough to. So I really don't know.
Yeah.
And I did check the run sheet, Ear Doctor. I don't see anything on here specific to new Trump appointments, unless I'm missing something.
You know who didn't get a Trump appointment? Did all that cooning, all that skinning and grinning, and for what? Tim Scott. Where is Tim Scott's cabinet appointment? Where is Tim Scott? Where is Timmy Scott? Timmy Scott stumped in shine shoes.
That's unfortunate. You always feel bad when cooning doesn't pay off. You feel bad.
Oh
for them.
man,
That's
to a
a
certain
shame.
extent, wasn't that what Kamala was doing? Like when
Of course.
I mean, cooning. Like in the coons, they get rewarded so often for cooning. When they don't get rewarded for it, it's like I almost feel bad for them. Like, goddamn, all that work just to get passed over for the whites. Sorry, just the observation.
What's this here? Ear Doctor. Oh, were you doing something with that? Ear Doctor.
No, that was just a picture of Tim Scott for those who didn't know.
Oh, Timmy Scott. That's y'all boy.
But Erica does have an interesting story in here for us. Speaking of whites and white women, just to extend the Jared.
Shout out to our radical white women's.
Well, this I think is not them.
Oh no.
Rachel Swarns for the New York Times says that for generations, scholars argued that white women were rarely involved in the active buying and selling of Black people. A growing body of research says otherwise. Between 1856 and 1861, white women engaged in nearly a third of the sales and purchases of enslaved people in New Orleans, which was home to the nation's largest slave market at the time, according to a working paper released by the National Bureau of Economic Research earlier this year. In 1830, white women accounted for about 16% of the purchases and sales of enslaved people in New Orleans. The study found elsewhere an analysis of runaway slave advertisements published between 1853 and 1860, which were compiled by the Black abolitionist William Still, found that white women were listed as owners in about 12% of the listings. The findings demonstrate that active participation in slavery crossed gender lines, according to Trayvon D. Logan, a professor of economics at Ohio State University, who was a co-author on the report with Benton Wishart, a student at the university who graduated in May. We're talking about literally thousands of women being involved in this industry, said Dr. Logan, who also serves as the director of the National Bureau of Economic Research's working group on race and stratification in the economy. Very interesting. Dr. Jones Rogers believes the research also helped to explain why many white Southern women romanticized slavery and supported the system of racial segregation that emerged after the Civil War, a system that helped ensure that their families could continue to benefit from a plentiful supply of low-cost Black labor. They choose white supremacy, she said, because they see it as economically advantageous. So very interesting. Very interesting.
Were white women whitewashed out of, you know, the brutality of slave ownership, at least how it's historically or present day retold and recounted? Like, you think white women were successfully, you know, sanitized out of slave ownership in terms of how we remember slavery? Not we as us, but, you know, America remembers slavery. Do you think white? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I think Black people who have continually experienced the cruelty of racist white women, like, I don't think we ever thought that white women were somehow excluded from the equation of the horrors of slavery, right? Because white women's word could really literally mean life or death for slave persons. So maybe this is news to white people. I'm not sure, but I guess just so we have the accuracy, the numbers, like, I guess, you know, whatever.
I guess the white women were seeing their husbands going into the quarters, grabbing enslaved Africans and being with them instead of being with the white woman. Like, I don't want to be with her. I got an enslaved person I can have sex with and do whatever I want with.
Insulated? Is that what you said?
Enslaved.
It's not okay. But white women was doing the same thing. Like, and again, that part
did never get talked about.
Does not get talked about to the same extent. I mean, that's part of the reason why they ran that Black man in Wilmington, North Carolina in 1898 up out of town. What was the guy's name? Chat smarties. I know y'all know the gentleman who owned the newspaper, and they came and burned his newspaper down. But what he wrote in response in an editorial that had the Klan outside of his offices waiting for his ass was, hello, the white women's be coming around having these indiscreet relationships, you know, these clandestine relationships with Black men often. And the whites did not like that. But it's known fact, right?
Those segregation.
So it's interesting. As I was reading that, I was trying to think also to what extent, because it has, on the one hand, it's felt like just being in certain political spaces or even in Africana studies that white women have not gotten away with anything, that people have been pretty clear. But I don't know to what extent the discussion of, at least what I remember of the discussion, involved the specifics of white women buying, doing the owning, the sort of business of it. So that rings as somewhat newish. But
I wonder, did the study, or at least that article, did it mention how these white women acquired the slaves? Because in my head, I hear less going to the slave auction to purchase and more inheriting, right? Or acquiring via marriage. I mean, I could be totally off with that, but
what I basically read the entire summary there, so it didn't say much more than that. What I read, but the study at the National Bureau of Economic Research might go into some of that. So we would have to. And the name, I think the chat is saying Alexander Manley in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Thank you. I thought his last name was Perry. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. July.
I honestly don't remember the story, so yeah.
Ocoee. Sorry, that's a different massacre. I'm remembering the Ocoee massacre in Florida.
What did this have to do with the piano lesson, which was just directed and produced by Denzel Washington's kids, the new one? I've seen the piano lesson.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, it was at the beginning of that article when they talked about the piano lesson. I was like, what is that got to do with
Really?
anything? Yeah, but yeah. Anyway,
Oh, I don't know.
Well, maybe I mean perhaps this article is published timely because white people are not our friends, of course, but white folks is trying to absolve themselves from this Trump reelection, right? Or the Kamala supporting whites are wondering, hey, why did more
Oh
Latinos
no,
show up?
sorry.
go ahead.
No, ear doctor. That was what you were seeing was just a highlight for another story on the
Oh,
website. That's about the
piano.
so it's
Okay.
but it's August Wilson's play, The Piano Lesson, that they're talking about. It's a separate story. It wasn't
Oh, okay.
related to
Okay.
the.
I got you. All right.
But no, I haven't seen it. I'm not familiar with the play either, so I don't know anything about any of it.
All right. Y'all need a break? Oh, y'all good? I think we just started.
I mean, always, we follow your leadership and
Okay.
guidance at all times. So
Follow the
whatever.
leader. Play some more
whatever.
Ghostface.
Play some more Ghostface. All
Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't mind that.
Let's take a quick break right here and get into some more Ghostface right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Before I escaped the bus, the way I fell, cracked the face of my watch. My man's chanting me on like, run, son, don't go up in the spot.
They ain't know I had it on deck neither. That's when you fucking with the ear doctor, son. You ain't? All right, big up to everybody tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare. And big up to everybody that tuned in and checked out us doing DJ Premiere, which is still up. Yeah, so go check that out also. Classical Breakdown. Hit the subscribe button, like I said. Go to the donate button, which is at blkliberationmedia.org, and donate there and become a Patreon member also and get footage that's rare. All right, so boom. I'm up here watching different shows, and one show that just came out and dropped a new one was LSR. Did I get those initials right? I hope I did. Yes, I did. LSR, when they was talking about a certain conference with a guest that came on the show. So let's check out and see what they was talking about right here.
Let's hop right into this interview because we are excited to talk about the conference in solidarity with the peoples of the Sahel, which you were able to attend. So can you just start off by giving an overview of the purpose and objectives of the conference, which took place November 19th to the 21st? Who were some of the organizations or parties or groups that participated, and what countries and non-state interests were represented?
Absolutely. So the conference was really a historic gathering that was aimed at reinforcing anti-imperialist, anti-colonial solidarity and celebrating the Alliance of Sahel States, or AES, their strides towards sovereignty. And I think some of the primary objectives were to consolidate support for the AES, the Alliance of Sahel States, as well as amplify the call for decolonization.
Right. All right, y'all got to go check that out. New episode just dropped. Layla was killing them with that earring and ensemble. Nice. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to it. Make sure y'all check out all the shows that come on Black Liberation Media. We got something for you, so make sure y'all check them out. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the crew. You know how we do. Let's go. All right, why ain't that playing? There you go. Bam! Yes, sir.
Fascinating what's happening in the Sahel. TikTok tells me that Ibrahim Traoré keeps surviving assassination attempt after assassination attempt, and it's like, shout out to the Wagner Group. Keep my man safe out there. Stay with him. Watch he's back.
So for those who don't know, what is the Sahel?
The new nation, the new configuration of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. They dissolved their borders or are attempting to, and have signed a mutual defense pact. You know, if one of them get attacked, then they all scrapping, right? But they've been kicking out the French. They've been kicking out the colonizers. They've been nationalizing their state resources.
So they on some Idi Amin shit, huh?
I wouldn't phrase it.
Not that far.
I would rather say it. I would rather say they are on some Kwame Nkrumah, some Patrice Lumumba, some Thomas Sankara. That's the vibe I'm getting, and want to see on its way. And so, yeah, to whatever extent. Yeah, I don't know enough to know about who is involved with. But anyway, the point would be that there would be. I would want them to survive any of these early attempts to break it up through assassination or other means, and to see how far it can go, because it is as Elon is saying, it's a region. The AES is a confederation between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, as Kim was breaking down, and it is to the extent that they're able to do what it sounds like they're headed to do. Let's go. It's very exciting.
Because Edie was kicking people out that wasn't down with the plan, right? He was like, "Yo, you got to go. You ain't down with us. You got to get the fuck up out of here."
BDP
So ain't that what they doing?
is down with us.
Yeah, but there's something I just don't
want to
have
use him as an example.
Yeah, and it's also just because I just don't remember the history careful enough. And I know that my initial reaction is to want to defend Amin, because he's often demonized by the West, and there, and then that whole the whole thing with Israel and all of that kind of stuff. But I just want to be careful, because I don't know enough about, don't know enough, don't remember enough. So I just want to leave that. That's why I was a little hesitant. And I'll just go back to the names that I'm more familiar with and know and trust. But all names that were targeted, in some cases successfully, well, in variations, all of them successfully, by Western efforts to destroy what they were trying to do. So that's why what it seems like, feels like, looks like is happening in that region is all to the good for me. And
but ain't that going back into trying to have a nation within the nation, where how are you going to defend yourself once you cut yourself off from the other people and be like, this is our nation. Now you got to defend your nation, and it's pretty easy now for an enemy to be like, let me drop a bomb on them.
I don't understand a nation within a nation. They are a nation.
Yeah,
they are already a nation. Now they formed a new nation, right?
So like we were saying, like if we was to form a nation of blacks over here in America, like how we would, the Black Wall Street and stuff like that, how would that work?
But we're already in an internal colony, right? They aren't. Well, I guess they are.
They are.
But now they say they have decolonized, right? Or are in the process of decolonizing. So I don't think it's an apples.
Don't they still have somebody to answer to, or no?
No.
Okay.
Who?
The UN? I don't know.
No. Well, theoretically, they're breaking economic and other ties with these former colonizers.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, also. I hope practically and in reality, that's what's happening, and continues successfully. Go ahead, Kim.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I just remembered I saw a clip and I wanted to play it, because Emmanuel Macron recently I don't know where he was, but he said something about I am Africa and Africa is me or some shit. And the Africans is like, no, actually, Macron,
no,
that is not you. You are definitely not Africa, and Africa is definitely not you.
Because I remember a couple of years ago when he said something to the effect like Martinique and that like he said that will always be French.
Oh.
And part of it is that colonizers recognize that they struggle without their colonies, that they're and I used to refer to it all the time, but that great speech that Nkrumah once gave before I think English Parliament at one point, but he was basically saying to them, all this social welfare and all this good shit you all have for yourselves over here is built off of what you're taking from us. So they know that they need that. But what I was just going to say was that theoretically, any state formation would be encouraged to be beholden to some certain international laws that so when we see attempts to bring Netanyahu into the International Criminal Court and all of that, like, that theoretically there would be, but to your point, to your question here, Doctor, as I understand it, the internal colonization that we suffer here is expressed and experienced differently on the continent, where on the continent, at least nominally, theoretically, they have control over their land. And they are not internally colonized as much as they are trying now to break ties from an external colonizer. So, and whereas, yes, whether it's media technology and propaganda or literal physical military technology, sure, all borders can be crossed, and there will be a need to defend those territories, both intellectually, ideologically, against media that can cross borders, but also against physical military attacks as well. But that's the case in any situation. And so from my humble perspective, in ignorance and privilege, I want them to continue to push those contradictions. If we are in fact free people, if they want to reorganize their countries and their borders, and they want to reorganize their governance to not include colonial ties to Europe, push that. And if we're in fact in a free and equitable world, it shouldn't result in much other than some benefits to the people there. And if it's going to, and now if it's going to force the West and France and others in particular to start ramping up claims that they need to militarize and Africanize to get back in there and do all of that, then I mean, we're seeing another version of that playing out in Palestine right now, and that would just have to. So I don't want to say be what it is, but yeah.
Let me continue to ask, as the chat rooms, my ignorant questions, because I don't know some stuff, and I like to know. And for those who don't know, I'm sure they would like to ask these questions that I'm asking. So, is UN like the police of the world? Like, who would be the people?
It's more like a neighborhood association.
I'm wondering who you go tattletale to.
Like the Hickory Ridge Advisory Board, isn't it? The UN is the Hickory Ridge Advisory Board. Jared, how much policing powers do you have?
That's funny. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right.
So y'all still got to call somebody, like. So
and similarly, the Hickory Ridge Village Board is an extension of an imposed settler colonial process, which is what the UN is. It is a Western imperial organization meant to help facilitate Western dominance, which is why it's set up this way and why it was created in the first place. So, and why Du Bois and others tried to intervene during the League of Nations discussions and all of that, with the idea that they saw, projecting a positive version of it. They saw, the Du Boisians Du Bois of the world saw what was coming. So, but the idea that, again, theoretically, it's supposed to be a body to which nations can go and bring their grievances. But as we just played last week on this very show, all it takes is the United States single-handedly to say, "No, we don't agree," and it don't happen. So that's why it becomes more clear. That's when it's shown to be more clearly the vehicle of Western power. So it's not a police. So in that sense, maybe it is a police. It's just like you call the police here. It's like you get the emissaries of power show up and do you dirty, even if you call them to help you. But yeah.
Thank you, chat room.
There you go. All right, so
y'all can see that I do ask some pretty decent questions.
You do.
These niggas. All right, thank you.
That's it? Okay, your doctor.
Okay.
Thank you. All righty. Well, chat. Thank you all so much. Well, we got some more time. So
yeah, we do. And
Let's go ahead and flip through some more stories. It's the
sure,
Remix Morning Show. Thank you all so much for watching us here on Black Liberation Media. Don't forget to head on over to the Patreon. I'm sure Jared has blessed the patrons with some more Patreon exclusive gems. Patreon.com/Black Liberation Media if you want to support us monetarily. The blkliberationmedia.org. Follow us places around the internet. We certainly appreciate it. And like the video, subscribe to the channel. We love y'all remixes. Thank you all so much. Even the haters. Did y'all let Anthony D back in?
Oh wow.
I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to say?
I don't know. Honestly, no. No, it's not.
Somebody was supposed to unblock. Somebody was supposed to. Where's the free?
Was
Anthony
the block
hashtag?
permanent?
Where was the t-shirts?
It should. I don't think it was supposed to be permanent.
No.
Free,
so that's
free
what I'm
Anthony.
saying. You got free Anthony D. Let him come back in here and do what he do.
Free Anthony D, says Lateef. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Free Anthony D. So yeah.
So by the way, the Saturdays crew has blessed the Patreon, and the last discussion generated a vigorous comment exchange involving F to Signifier and others around this election analysis. So, but more to come for sure. So definitely support if you can. And I was wrong earlier. Kim did have us prepared with a story about a recent Trump pick for housing secretary. And this story,
Erica, the other Brown,
the future Dr. Brown, Erica. Yeah, sorry, the other Erica.
Dr. Brown. Yes,
no, yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I do like to call her future Dr. Brown, and future Dr. Brown is on her way.
I told her, I said, we need more doctors in the family, Erica. Come on.
Exactly.
All right. So where we
So
going?
what to know about Scott Turner, Trump's pick for housing secretary, is the ABC story. President-elect Donald Trump has selected Scott Turner to lead the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So of course, if urban is in the title, you got to get your black appointees out and ready, and Trump is staying true to form. Scott Turner,
Timmy Scott was right there. Tim Scott was right there. How much cooning did Scott Turner do on the?
No, that's what we need. So they need their own version of it, Kim. It's like Tim Scott cooned, so Scott Turner could sit, something like that. They need their own little, he walked so Scott Turner could run.
Wow.
Scott Turner, President-elect Donald Trump's choice to lead the Department of Housing and Urban Development, is a former NFL player who ran the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council during Trump's first term.
The what?
Turner, the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council. In case you missed,
he got CTE.
Oh,
shut
damn.
up.
Cracker trauma endurance. Is that what that stands for?
Scott Turner. I have never heard of this man. He's a former NFL player. He must have been a scrub.
Oh, I was thinking I've never heard of him, but I don't pay attention anymore. So, but he's 52 and the first black person selected to be a member of the Republicans candidate. He grew up in Dallas suburb Richardson and is a graduate of University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. So Dr. Sundiata Chajwa, get your mans. That's you're obviously responsible for this, brother.
And he played for the Redskins.
And he played for the Washington football team. Who, by the way, Kim, have you heard? Am I wrong? There seems to be a renewed push to bring the name back.
It spurred in part by one of these Trump crackers. Oh no! Wow. It was a senator. What senator was it, y'all? From Montana or one of those upper Montana, Idaho, somewhere in there, who was trying to push because they're trying to vote to see whether or not DC can get the RFK site, the federal government or Congress. They have to approve whether or not DC gets the RFK. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what the fuck DC needs now. In a housing crisis, we need 200 acres to be built for a fucking NFL stadium. But anyway, yes, there was a tiny push, I think, to re-bring the name back, but they should.
Yeah, Montana Senator Steve Daines is and I'll just pull this up here because he's got a whole presentation apparently he's running here, with the logo and saying it's an honor to Chief Two Guns White Calf, and they find all the indigenous folks who agree with it. The Native American Guardians Association, NAGA, said Monday the Commanders, along with Major League Baseball's Cleveland Indians, are the two highest profile professional sports to abandon their American Indian logos.
I point to the Change the Mascot campaign, right?
Yeah.
There was way more indigenous people again.
But NAGA is what they're called, the Native American Guardians Association, and they want him to keep the pressure up. And to block stadium money until the Commanders officially restore the former name and logo.
Well, I support blocking the stadium money anyway. Is it like block it anyway? These NFL stadiums are gargantuan sucks of tax money.
And you're saying this new one is being proposed? Is this gonna? They're also saying they want the taxpayers of DC to pay for this. Is that what? I'm not up on this.
That's a very good question. So the RFK site, obviously with FedEx Field, well, it's not FedEx Field anymore, but regardless, the stadium in Landover, apparently one of the lesser desirable, less good quality stadiums in the NFL. With under new ownership of the Commanders, they're scouting the potential for a new stadium. And the owner of the Commanders, Josh Harris, says he definitely wants the new stadium to be in DC. But there is question whether or not the city will retain ownership of the site. And I think Congress has to approve, or maybe they just recently did approve, but something there's something transactional happening with that. Mayor Bowser wants to build a new stadium. I don't think members of that community want a new stadium. I think, it's a 200-acre space. It's right next to the river. DC needs housing. DC doesn't need a new football stadium, but the white man said he wants a new football stadium.
So it says here that I just looked at, I'm behind. It says, so in August, the team sold the stadium naming rights to Northwest Federal Credit Union, a Virginia-based company.
FedEx Field though. It's FedEx Field.
Yeah.
Notice.
So is that gonna? But they're not gonna. They're not going to use that to take the team to Virginia, which has always been, But either way, your point is right that the DC doesn't need that. The last stadium where they built the baseball stadium, and I remember them claiming at the time that all the good it was going to do for the city, and all it did was displace a bunch of poor Black people and basically leave the city and surrounding areas as unequal as ever. So I mean, it's they always come with this idea that it's going to create jobs and bring revenue and all of this, but
I mean, something about this country just loves to subsidize billionaires. There was a big meeting amongst the DC City Council, and I think some residents were allowed to come testify, because Mayor Bowser wants to give Leonsis $500 million, $500 million to either buy Capital One Arena outright, or that money go towards the future upkeep and maintenance of the arena. I can't recall what the specifics were. And people, residents were coming to testify in front of the city council, like, why the fuck are we subsidizing this nigga for $500 million? He's a billionaire. He doesn't need our tax breaks. But he got him.
Well, this Trump appointee, speaking of the housing crisis, is I'm sure going to do a great job in leading HUD to help shelter.
So what is his experience? I mean, I know experience is not a requisite to be part of Donald Trump's cabinet.
Just that he worked for him before, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I guess what was Ben Carson's experience? Because Carson was also head of the same agency under Trump. And it's like, the surgeon?
Well, it says here that during off seasons, Turner worked as an intern with then Republican Duncan Hunter of California. And he worked, and then when he retired in 2004, that is Turner, from the NFL, he worked for the congressman full time. In 2006, Turner ran unsuccessfully as a Republican in California's 50th congressional district. Turner joined the Texas House in 2013 as part of a large crop of Tea Party supported lawmakers.
So he just moved. He went from California to Texas and got elected.
It looks like it. He found where the Tea Party could get him in there. And he worked for a software company in a position called Chief Inspiration Officer. Instead, he acted as a professional mentor, pastor, and counselor for the employees and an executive team. He's also been a motivational speaker.
Hey,
he and his, they have a church. He and his wife founded a nonprofit promoting initiatives to improve childhood literacy.
Of course they have a church. Of course they have a church.
His church, Prestonwood Baptist Church, lists him as an associate pastor. He is chair for the Center of Education and Opportunity at America First Policy Institute, a think tank set up by former Trump administration staffers to lay groundwork if he won a second term. So he's not unexperienced.
I didn't hear anything about housing or urban development.
Oh no, you did. There's childhood literacy and inspiration, and he's the chief inspiration officer, as Chitty Macha reminds us. So he's going to inspire people starting at childhood literacy with to read early and get your house.
Man, listen.
Find your house.
I will say, if you are willing to step and fetch in Coon for the conservative whites, especially, they will find a place for you. Like they will put you on. I mean, that's not exclusive to conservative whites, because I guess the liberals too. If you Coon liberally, they will create a spot for you. On some hand, I kind of respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of like to see, especially Black people with no experience, kind of get put in positions that white people normally get put in, who also have no experience, right? So when Black people kind of get the white affirmative action push, I'm like, you know what? Good for them. Good for them. Good for you. You getting a job with no qualifications and still got the job.
Speaking of Texas, where this dude spent time or is now residing, if I saw correctly, the Dallas Cowboys just beat the Washington football team, which at one point would have ruined my month.
Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad you freed yourself?
Totally free from it. I saw the headline and felt nothing. And I only note how that is a definite transformation in my life, because that seriously would have wrecked my mood for weeks.
Jared, how many football seasons worth of bad Mondays did you endure because the Washington football team was so abysmal? And then that Monday,
I mean, when did Kaepernick start his? Because after that season, that was when I fully checked out. So whenever that was, I mean, so we're talking, that's still a good almost 30 years of conscious,
30 years, yeah,
of conscious ups and downs with the team, and for the most part, it was down for the last, so it was a lot of them, a lot of bad Mondays and Tuesday mornings, but as Erica has let us know the other day, Texas had announced that they're getting rid of DEI from public educational institutions, and now they are apparently approving Bible curriculum options in public schools. So,
which is interesting, because I'm curious. I mean, I fully expect organizations like ACLU to be challenging these, because this is obvious, blatant contrast of church and state. But this is the further push of dumbing down America's youth to make sure that they understand the Bible, right? To understand, who cares if you understand how your reproductive system works? Do you know the 10 Commandments?
We got fiction books and basing laws off of fiction books. I can't. Where are we at?
I mean, that's not the issue for me. The issue for me is like, because what they're doing in Oklahoma. Anyway, I saw a story of a woman who voted for Trump, supported Trump, so excited that Trump is going to get rid of the Department of Education, except this goofy woman has a special needs child. And when she took the child to school to see about getting their IEP program, updated or whatever, the school told her, well, we may not be able to provide these services for your child next year. And the woman was in confusion. Why won't we be able to provide the services? My child has special needs. They need this. Oh, because, well, it's the Department of Education that enforces, ADA and that kind of stuff, and federal mandates that children have equal access to XYZ in school. And now these people are in confusion. and then the school system told her, well, they was running low on funds because they had to spend all this money on books. Well, the books they spent money on was the Bible.
Wow.
Yo, Chichimancha.
Chitty-matcha.
Yeah, this is a good. The Bible is full of fornication, betrayal, and sexism.
Do you know
you're teaching that in school with kids?
But that's the clean version. Like seriously, there's all kinds of I'm listening to other YouTubers, so they of grape out, there's abuse of familial relations.
Oh yeah.
That song that I grew up even loving, there's a great reggae version of it, by the rivers of Babylon, where if you read that verse, because I just saw a discussion of this recently, if you follow that verse to the next verse, it talks about smashing babies on the rocks. Like it talks about killing children, babies who are not following this apparent interpretation. So the Bible is but I heard the most compelling argument I heard from the atheist critique of the Bible is, and I really appreciated this, and I should remember the person's name to credit them, but I don't at the moment. But what he said was the issue for him isn't if what can be said in the Bible could be proven or not to be true. He said, that's not my issue. My issue is that people who believe in the word, whether even if it's not true, literally, historically, it is conveying a worldview and an attitude towards other people, to the world, to the universe, that is dangerous. So his point was, I don't want to get too much wrapped up in can we prove or not what is claimed in the Bible actually happened, which is where I get caught up a lot, admittedly. But he's saying, focus on what is being encouraged attitudinally in people's behavior, and that's where he found. And I have to agree. Like there's a lot of encouraged hostility in what people often say they find inspiration in, and to see that it's going to be brought in. So aside from whether it's teaching reality as it relates to the sciences, it's going to be conveying a lot of
superiority complex in a way. Like, yo, if you ain't praising Jesus and God, then you going to hell. So everything bad that happens to you, you deserve it because you're not on the right team.
I mean, that's a lot
fine
of it.
If that's what they want to teach in church. I don't think children should be compelled to learn that or be indoctrinated into that off the public funding. You know what I'm saying? Off of tax dollars. Like, if you want to teach all religions, if you want to go through the all the Abrahamic religions and get children like to have a more rounded worldview of monotheism, I don't fucking know. But I mean, if you're going to teach, I mean, I don't object to the teaching of religion per se. I think I object to the exclusive teaching of just only Christianity and the Bible. Because I think, you can broaden people's minds culturally if you learn about other religions from around the world, but that's not what's going to happen.
It should be brought up in social studies. Like social studies should cover all these different religions. That's what it should be looked at as. Like, how did these different religions create culture? What did they do in this world to make it how it is? That's how it should be done. Not just like, oh, this is the book.
Yeah, but then you get into too much criticism, and then people that's the problem. And then it becomes another version of what the Texans and their fellow whites are upset about in terms of so-called critical race theory.
Mm.
Because you could teach the histories of religion, but also from a very critical point of view. You could. I mean, a lot of what I get into myself personally are the historical debates around how does a religion form? What is its actual impact? How is its claims transmitted? How do they become popular? All of these things can be investigated critically through a historical lens. I think all of that. So yeah, I'm not saying there should be no discussion of religion, the whole thing of let's read the Bible and introduce it as a course text.
Right.
Yeah, because then the people gonna start reading and be like, wait a minute, this is all about mind control and control of a people. This once they dig deep into it and see all the different things about these religions, it's like, wait a minute. So this is why they use religion like they use it.
Well,
what I would go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I also think that, you know, the compulsory state teaching, mandatory state teaching of the 10 Commandments in the Bible, I think it's actually going to backfire on them because kids are sharp, right? Kids can really recognize contradictions pretty early. So when you talk about thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit, you know, adultery, etc., like children are going to realize that they are on stolen land, or that you know their pastor at their actual church was caught, you know, fornicating or committing adultery. So when you try to impose these so-called moral teachings on children in an immoral place where the kids can very clearly see, you know, the contradictions, I think that's probably going to turn a lot of youths away. I don't know if the indoctrination is going to be successful.
See, and that's a good point. See, that would be my point. So like, to the extent I'm learning just a little bit very recently about what actually goes on in these seminary institutions, it sounds fascinating that it's not strictly religious indoctrination. In some cases, it's like serious investigation into the claims of the Bible and whatnot. And there's a lot of contradiction and conflict. And I think that can be fascinating. So if I just saw, again, I'm watching this on YouTube and I don't, you know, so but apparently there's some even new scholarship showing that the people that would have been claimed to be, in other words, saying that when you read the Bible and you hear about the old beefs between the Israelites and the Canaanites, which often is used to justify, because it's that God gives Israel the right to just destroy everybody, kill all the women and the children and take their land. But when they investigate, apparently the claims of the Bible, they realize that the people who would have been claimed to be the Israelites are in fact Canaanites. Now, if that becomes somehow proven to be historically correct, then it further weakens today's claims of Zionists to defend their right to be there, to take the land from the Palestinians, because this argument would mean that they were all the same people, meaning a lot of things. Then either European descended Jews have some explaining to do.
And
I'll just leave it there.
I mean, the King James version of the Bible is what got my wheels to turning as a young person who was compelled to go to church. And I'm like, wait a minute, who's King James? Where did he live? When did he live? Oh, so he wasn't nowhere near around this shit when this shit was going down. Why the fuck we listen to what he got to say about this shit?
And my favorite,
I got a playwright writing the book. William Shakespeare.
Well, they keep bringing that up. The King James version. I just saw somebody say it. They said I think it's 12 years after The Merchant of Venice is published is when we get the King James version of the Bible. So people keep, and even my mother used to say this. The maybe the biggest atheist to ever walk, the most hostile to religion person ever, would say the King James Bible is beautifully written. She would say, read it. And then she would say it's all bullshit, but she would say, read it because it's beautifully written. And it's often used as, and then it's often dismissed also by scholars as being the least accurate of the translations. So I don't know how accurate that is, but that's one of the claims I see often too. So it's the most beautifully written and least accurate of the translations. So
Can you imagine being a teacher the first day? All right, class. So we're going to learn about how brother and sister had sex together. We're going to learn about how this woman couldn't control her appetite and had to eat this damn apple. And snakes used to talk, but they don't no more. This is what we're learning.
But I don't understand how parents. I mean, actually, I do understand. I understand how when patriotic and religious indoctrination and white supremacy and all these things go hand in hand and hand in hand. But I can't understand how parents could be signing off on this shit. Like, your children don't know geography. Your children don't know basic mathematics. These children let the teachers tell it. Let teacher TikTok tell it. These kids can't read worth a damn. These kids can't write worth a damn. They can't write their name. but let's make
Teacher
sure.
TikTok is right.
Man, listen.
It's bad out here.
Teacher TikTok is opening my eyes. I almost wish I hadn't discovered teacher TikTok, because they got me very pessimistic about the future, because they said, and what is the reason? How come these kids don't know how to read and write? They just been given the screen and going off in the corner. Like, what?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we
And
have
teachers
pretty
are
much-
overworked. They're underpaid. They get too many kids to deal with. I think there's a lot of cascading issues that lead to this. But yeah.
The teachers
And
say
the-
that they are giving the kids open book quizzes and the kids is failing.
That shit is crazy, right?
What?
Yo,
And
they
because-
get to use a phone in class. Oh my god.
I also think it's because the ruling elite know that they can mine talented people and workforces from all over the world. They're like, I don't even care about raising up a nation of intelligent, talented people. They're like, I'll just go find somebody in Bangladesh and put them to work.
Do they know how to use Google? That's all they want to know right now. Kid, you know how to use Google? All right. Well, listen, man. We have done it. Another Tuesday right here on the Remix Morning Show. And we will be back here tomorrow with some more at 8 a.m. Kim, you got anything coming up?
I got my show tonight. I have a Dirtbag Diaries update, because Conor McGregor has just been found liable in a R-word case. I wanted to talk about that because that shit was crazy. But also, there's a big trial happening right now in France. Y'all, anyway, this shit happening in France is crazy. This husband drugged his wife for a decade and allowed dozens of men to come and assault her in her sleep. And the trial of these 51 men is ongoing right now in France. And the woman has actually decided to shed anonymity and go on the record. She testified recently in court. So, Wow.
Well, I'll be tuning in later. I'll be tuning in for that one.
I have to tell these stories because niggas think bitches be lying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sometimes, man. Right, all due diligence, But sometimes I feel like that old Soviet style is the best response. Like, I don't even like a dude that would do that.
He needs
just
to be outed.
But that's
really, that's really what I'm saying.
But that's the wild
and quickly, you know what I'm saying? Just
like, but it's the dastardliness of the act, right? But the fact that the wife, prior to discovering this, said the husband was an amazing husband. His children said he was an amazing father, member of the community. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point I want to point out. Like, these are not the dudes in the raincoats in the bushes with the, no, these is your average upstanding members of the community that do
Cosby
dirtbag
sweater
shit all the time. Cosby
They
sweater.
be in
That's
his Cosby
say that.
sweater.
That's right. So
Talk
yes.
about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
No.
Yo, so what you got coming up, Jared? Anything?
After that, nothing. I got nothing to say after that.
That was a wild shit.
My
right
mind
there.
is in so many other places right now. I'm like, I got nothing appropriate to say that will get us fired and removed off of everything.
Make sure y'all
I
check
did
out
want to
Kim
say,
later.
like,
What up?
I feel like doing so. I feel like at a protest, we should have a Remix Morning Show Thursday.
I will have to see. I might be in the slums of Laurel.
I already thought about a rerun or something.
I know you did. I was like,
good to see you.
all right, Eddie. Nah, man. Just make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss nothing. Everybody, thanks for
Do
your
that.
support.
No doubt. Catch y'all tomorrow morning. Remix Morning Show. Peace.